In a galaxy far away, where starships sailed through nebulas and planets teemed with civilizations unknown to Earth, there was a planet named Talion, home to the Xerian people, an ancient race of telepathic beings with regal, golden skin and eyes that shone like the brightest stars. The Xerians were ruled by King Cyrus, a leader revered for his wisdom and strength. His daughter, Princess Isara, was known across the galaxy for her beauty, her intellect, and her gentle, empathetic heart. Despite her grace, Princess Isara had never been allowed to experience life as an ordinary person. She was a symbol of her people's nobility, and from a young age, she was groomed for political alliances, expected to marry into another powerful family to strengthen her father's kingdom. Her life was never her own, dictated by the needs of her people and the legacy of her royal bloodline. But everything changed the day a threat to her life arose. It had been an ordinary day when the events unfolded, one that would forever alter the course of Princess Isara's destiny. She had been attending a grand gala, an event that showcased the many planets that relied on the Xerian Empire. The political tension was palpable as the leaders of several key planets mingled, each eager to secure a place in the coming agreements. Isara stood at the center of the room, a figure of elegance, her gown made from the finest, shimmering materials of the galaxy. Her golden skin glowed under the chandeliers, and her silver hair flowed like a river of stars behind her. But while she appeared at ease, her mind raced with the pressure of her father's expectations. She was already betrothed to a powerful ruler from another planet, an arrangement made long before she could even remember. As she stood near the balcony, overlooking the beautiful night sky, a sudden, violent explosion ripped through the air. The room trembled, and screams echoed as the building shook. A group of mercenaries, hired by a rival planet, had infiltrated the gala with the intent to assassinate the princess. Panic spread like wildfire. Guests ran in all directions, and security rushed to contain the chaos. Isara's father, King Cyrus, had made her a target for many. It wasn't the first time his enemies had tried to harm his family. But this time, something would be different. The mercenaries charged toward her, weapons drawn, as Isara was escorted to safety by her guards. But she was too late to escape. A gunshot rang out, and Isara froze in place, her body tense. A guard in front of her crumpled to the ground, blood spilling across the polished floor. The mercenary moved in, ready to strike. Just as she braced for impact, a figure rushed toward her. It was an earthling, an unknown soldier, someone who was not supposed to be at the gala, someone who had been working as part of the security team under an assumed identity. He threw himself in front of the princess, taking the bullet that was meant for her. The world slowed for a moment as Isara watched in horror as the man fell to the ground, blood staining his white shirt. The mercenaries, their plans foiled by the unexpected hero, were quickly overpowered by the remaining security forces. The princess was saved, but the man who had sacrificed himself for her lay unconscious on the floor. Her heart ached with the sight of him, and her thoughts raced. The unknown soldier was quickly taken to the royal infirmary, where medical technology beyond human comprehension worked to save his life. Princess Isara couldn't stop thinking about him. He had given everything for her, a mere earthling who had no reason to care. He didn't even know her, yet he had risked his life, and for that, he was a hero. The following days were a blur of royal duties and diplomatic negotiations, but Princess Isara's thoughts always returned to the man who had saved her life. She learned that his name was Jacob Carter, a soldier from Earth. He had volunteered to be part of the security team assigned to protect the Xerian royalty, although he had no idea who he was guarding when he arrived. Jacob had been in critical condition, but thanks to the healing technologies of the Xerians, He had miraculously survived. Princess Isara visited him every day, speaking to him in the hopes of waking him from his deep slumber. When he finally awoke, his first words were not of gratitude, but of concern for her well-being. "I didn't mean to get you involved," Jacob had said weakly. I couldn't let them hurt you." Isara's heart melted. Here was a man who had no political ties to her world, no understanding of the depths of royal duty, yet he had placed his life above his own without hesitation. She couldn't ignore the profound connection she felt toward him. Weeks passed, and despite her growing feelings, Isara knew her duty. She was already promised to another, and Jacob was nothing more than a soldier from a distant world. Still, she couldn't help but dream of a different life, one where she wasn't bound by the rules of the royal court. Then one day, as Isara sat in the garden, contemplating her future, Jacob approached her. He had been discharged from the royal infirmary and was preparing to return to Earth. His mission complete, his job done, and the princess's safety ensured. "I have to go back to Earth," Jacob said, standing before her. "I'm just a soldier, princess. I'm not the hero of your story. You belong with someone who can give you everything your kingdom needs." Isara looked at him, her heart heavy with emotion. "Jacob, you've given me more than anyone could ever give. You saved my life. You sacrificed everything for me. And now you're telling me to marry someone I don't love, someone I'm not meant to be with." Jacob stepped forward, taking her hand in his. "I'm not asking you to throw away your future, Isara. I'm asking you to be true to yourself. You deserve a life where you're happy, not one dictated by politics, not one filled with obligations." The words rang in her ears. For the first time in her life, someone was asking her to choose her own happiness, not the expectations of others. That night, Princess Isara did something she had never dared to do. She stood before her father, King Cyrus, and asked for the one thing she had never thought possible. "Father, I want to marry Jacob Carter, the Earthling soldier," she said, her voice strong but filled with uncertainty. "He took a bullet for me. He risked his life, and he has shown me a kind of love that I cannot ignore." King Cyrus, who had always seen his daughter as a pawn in his political games, stared at her in stunned silence. His gaze was cold at first, but then something shifted. The love he had for her, deep down, surfaced. "You are the future of our people, Isara," he said finally. "But your happiness, your heart, it is more important than any alliance. If this man is who you love, then I will support you." Tears welled in Isara's eyes as she realized the weight of her father's words. "You would truly allow me to marry him?" "I would," he said softly. "You deserve to choose your own destiny, my daughter. Follow your heart." In the end, Princess Isara married Jacob Carter, the Earthling soldier who had risked his life for her. The royal court was in an uproar, but the marriage was a symbol of change, a new era where the princess could choose her own path. And together, Isara and Jacob worked to unite the worlds, combining the strengths of Earth and Talion to create a future where love and duty could coexist. The man who had taken a bullet for her had changed her life forever, showing her that love, true, selfless love, could break the chains of duty and set her free.